to Griffon Update Sports, a student-produced show all about Missouri Western athletics. We've got it all every week. Highlights, games, players, fans, and every sport all year long.
Welcome to Griffon Update Sports. As always, I'm your host, Bailey Ketchum.
And I'm Jake Michael. We hope y'all are ready to hear about some sports today.
Today, we're going to feature men's basketball, baseball, softball, and track and field seasons so far.
We'll also have our sports roundtable.
This week, we're discussing all the news to do with NBA.
What a stressful time of year. But speaking of basketball, we wanted to highlight an important player on the Western basketball team, Brian Hudson.
I talked with Hudson about his senior season. Mr. Reliable is a common phrase you hear from the men's basketball team about senior Brian Hudson, and that is an understatement.
I call him a tough-minded winner. They call him Dr. Dependable. He's a solid human being. And so one thing is, you never know how much intensity a guy has, especially when he keeps a nice poised demeanor. But we all know that still waters run deep, and he's got this quiet confidence about him that he carries himself every single day with. And so for us, there's never a high or a low with B-HUD. There's just what you see is what you get every single day.
Me and Levon, Alex, we all created this idea that we wanted to leave something behind, some type of legacy, just a culture, just because it's a new program. So we wanted new people to come in, just understand, this is what the seniors, this is what this team did, this first team did. So, all the new guys come in, they see how our the culture is, and we just want to leave that behind for more people just to come in, just be like, this is how Missouri Western is, this is how the Griffon are. Yeah.
Brian's been a huge support for me, mentally and on the court. We live in the same room together, so I'm seeing him every morning. We always pick each other up, and he's been a great mentor since I've been here, for sure.
Hudson was on the team last year when it was at its worst and sees the difference this year.
This team, we're just such on the court. We have a whole deeper chemistry, and it just carries on from, like I said, off the court as well. So we consider each other brothers. So it's just like a real family. So when we're on the court, it's just all about protecting and just going all out for your brother.
Hudson is on the last stretch of his senior season, which motivates him to outwork his opponents.
It's coming down to the very end, and this is all you got. And right now there's 8 more games left, and every time you play a game somewhere on the road, it's the last time you'll ever play there. And pretty soon, a couple weeks from now, it'll be the last time you'll ever play it in the Looney Complex again. And the finality of it all is what gives seniors kind of that desperate motivation, that desperate energy at the end of their career to do things maybe they've never done before, and to raise up and show a new level that they've never found, and to give more than they've ever give. And that's what's special about B-HUD, is I think he's doing that every single day for us.
The men return home this week to play SBU and Central Missouri. This is Bailey Ketchum for Griffon Update Sports.
Yeah, he's such a strong role model on the team this year.
I know, I love watching him compete. Also, happy 22nd birthday, Brian. Another person I enjoy watching is Kobe Cummings during the football season.
I heard that he's playing baseball now.
You heard right. I talked with him about what it all entails playing 2 college sports. Kobe Cummings started out the year as a football player, but now he has moved to his second sport, baseball.
When they found out that I wanted to play football, they actually came and started talking to me at my school, and so I talked to them, and I then decided to start talking to the baseball coach, and so then it all just kind of fell through.
Kobe played on my brother's team in high school, and so I got to watch him play a couple times, and he kind of stood out in that scenario, and I was talking to my parents about it, and later I figured out that he was coming here as a 2A, and so I got pretty excited after hearing that news. Having somebody like that who's a standout player in high school on your team is always a good thing. So.
Cummings' main focus was football at the beginning of the year, which kept him from participating in baseball all fall.
His main sport is football, of course. That's really what brought him here. So at the same time, you really want to be able to be sensitive to the part that, at least initially when he gets here, takes up the most time. For us, he's an outfielder, and so him catching up to the hitting part and what it takes and that sort of thing is definitely a process. So he's now be able to work with us full time now that he joins us, and so that in and of itself, I think, is going to speed it up for him it just takes a little bit, you know.
Now during baseball season, I work out with football in the mornings, but I go to all the baseball practices and all the games. I think just being able to do it like my whole life, it's definitely helped. So not so much the technique and everything. I mean, of course, it's always going to be muscle memory once you've done it so long, but it's more of the communication and just talking to the guys and everything, and just kind of getting them to trust me and get their trust with me and all that.
When I hear that, you know, he's going to be a two-way, my biggest thing is I'm like, I hope he sticks to that. And for him to be like, yeah, I'll just do football. You know, I've already had success in that, but I'm really glad that he decided that he's going to do both, and I hope he keeps that up throughout the rest of his career. Especially because, like, you know, he's been such a good teammate already so far. He's kind of just fit right in with who we are as a team and jumped right aboard, and he's still working really, really hard and doing good things. So.
I can't wait to see what Cummings does this season and the rest of his years at Western. This is Bailey Ketchum for Griffon Update Sports.
You know, I can't imagine what his workload is like.
Not very light, that's for sure. Hey, have you kept up on how track and field is doing?
I actually was just at their practice the other day. Check out what they have to say about the season so far.
Another year of the Griffon track and field squad means more hurdles to clear. New faces, old faces, same clear vision. With only one athlete qualify for the Division II Indoor and Outdoor National Championships last year, it's a new season for the Griffs to write a new chapter, and it all starts with a new coach at the forefront. Yuri Lintvinsky was announced the head coach of the Western Cross Country and Track and Field teams on July 18th of 2018. His resume includes not one, but 2 regional Division II Assistant of the Year honors. The dedication of the athletes is what he believes makes the job rewarding.
So a big part of that has to do with the fact that they just got to know me. I got to know them. So new coach. The second part of that is that we have some kids that are really excited about track. They kind of love to train and get better and to do well. And the third factor is that we're a fairly new program. So we're second year into existence. And the excitement in that is that they have an opportunity to lay down the foundation for us to help us establish our identity, to build our culture, and to build our tradition.
Both men's and women's teams were picked to finish last in their respective groups when the preseason coaches poll was released. Though this may be due to the fact that Griffon Track and Field is still in the early stages of its inception, both teams have exceeded expectations, and they're just getting started. One of the overlooked qualities of Lintvinsky's coaching style is the bond he creates with his players. In a sport where X's and O's aren't exactly a must, it's imperative a coach cares about each one of his or her players' well-being. Freshman Nathan Haggerty feels his coach does just that.
For me personally, he's been kind of like a father, really, because he's always there checking on you. He's always asking how you're doing, like how are you feeling. Walk into practice, he's like, "Hey Nate, what's going on, man?" Shake your hand. I saw him at practice the other day. I told him I PR'd, and he's like so excited. And he's right there. He's involved with everything.
Fellow teammate Hannah Williams, who just became the first Griffon in program history to earn an automatic qualifying mark for her performance in the 400 at the Bearcat Invite, echoed the same testament of her new coach.
He's definitely there, you know what I'm saying? He's definitely there for us. He's always there at our races cheering us on. Even for distance, he's there for distance. He's just there for everybody. Jumps, he practically coaches everything, so he's just always there.
Make no mistake about it, this group had plenty of success the following season. When Haggerty was asked whether there's pressure this year now that the program has established itself, he said, quote, "Definitely." For Griffon Update Sports, I'm Jake Michael.
Thankfully, they're still doing their indoor season. I'd hate to be outside right now.
Well, softball and baseball are doing it.
True. The softball coach crossed a pretty big milestone recently.
Big is an understatement to what she's doing at her time here at Western. Reporter Bo Baker has more with Coach Bagley.
Coach Jen Bagley of the softball team is the second longest tenured coach here at Western, and in that span she has racked up the second most wins in MIAA history as she racked her 600th win.
We've been fortunate to have some good teams and a lot of good years, a lot of great athletes, more importantly a lot of really great assistant coaches.
Some of the players are very grateful that they got to be a part of Bagley's huge milestone. it's really cool to be a part of that many wins. And I think that no one is more deserving of Coach Bagley because of all the effort and the time that she puts in to our team.
I think it's an honor. I love Coach Bagley. I think it's an honor to play for her. She's one heck of a human.
Even though the 600 wins is labeled her achievement, Bagley humbly accepts that she couldn't have done this alone.
You know, it's unfair that gets just put on the head coach, that it's their career wins, but because there's so many things that go into it, there's so many more people that go into it, from administration on down.
Throughout Bagley's years as a coach here at Western, her relationships with her players continue to grow stronger.
I would throw a fit because I was so immature. And she would tell me I was an embarrassment to Griffon softball. Now if she told me that, I'd be like, whatever, coach, whatever.
If we just don't suck, then we're doing a lot of things right.
Coach Bagley is fastly approaching becoming the all-time leader in MIAA history. We look forward to covering that milestone later this season. For Griffon Media, this has been Bo Baker.
I feel like people don't know Western softball without her, and it shows.
Yeah, she's an amazing coach. We'll have more sports talk in our roundtable after this break.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Jake and I are here along with reporter Tanner Cobb to talk about recent NBA news. Jake, what are your thoughts on this really exciting trade deadline?
Yeah, exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's really exciting. No, those Anthony Davis trade talks fizzled out, and I'm kind of mad that it didn't all end up working out, because I think if you're the Pelicans, you're absolute fools for not taking the deal that was proposed to you.
Mhm.
You got Ingram, Lonzo, Kuzma, Zubac, a couple first-round picks.
But I'm glad they didn't, because I love Kuzma. Oh, yeah.
I know, but it's like he had to be a part of the deal because he's the best guy to offer.
The Lakers wouldn't have much of a bench if they did that.
No,
Right?
Half their team.
True,
honestly.
But it's like we've seen the experiment, and it just doesn't seem to be working out. I don't think LeBron wants to play the waiting game. He wants to play with veterans that can play right away, and he likes to be surrounded with shooters. And Kuzma's a great one, and Ingram's getting his he's getting his opportunities, but it's just not working out. We've seen this experiment blow up.
Yeah.
So I think if you're the Pelicans, you should have taken that deal, get something for him, because what other team what are they going to offer? The Knicks, the Clippers, what are they going to offer?
Yeah.
Not much.
Yeah, they could have got a lot of players, but in the East, there was a lot of trades that went down, and I think the Marc Gasol trade to Toronto was big because they went out, they got Kawhi Leonard, who's a great player, one of the best two-way players in the league, and Gasol has got that experience. He's been in the playoffs, he went to the Western Conference Finals with the Grizzlies back in the day, and they just got Jeremy Lin. They got some depth, they got some players. You better watch out for them.
They're going somewhere.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. 76ers, I think, got a great one in Harris. And honestly, I think they're a team that their starting lineup is one of the best, if not the best in the East, because I think they can do a lot with that. And I'm hoping that they're going to make a big run in this last part of the season. And even though Boston is my team, I don't know, I really like the 76ers and I like the potential that they have. But speaking of Boston, can we just talk about how upsetting that buzzer beater was against the Lakers? I was so upset about that. Ugh.
You worked so hard the entire game, and you allow the Lakers to come back and just stab you right in the heart. Man. It just hurts, man. I don't know what's going on with Boston this year. I thought they would for sure be taking away the East, and just cakewalking through it. But I don't know what the deal is with them. Marcus Morris says they're not having fun. I don't know what that's due to. I can't point a finger at anybody. I just don't think. I think Gordon Hayward's injury is kind of hindering him a little bit.
And Kyrie.
I don't know. There's a lot of distractions with Kyrie.
The chemistry is huge. I mean, you just think they had a bunch of young guys take them to the Eastern Conference Finals. 7 games to LeBron James. Didn't have Kyrie. Didn't have Gordon Hayward. And now that those two are back, they're trying to get in the suit of things, but they're just struggling.
They should have it figured out by now.
They should. I mean, past the midpoint, almost the All-Star break. They got to get their stuff together if they want to get themselves their championship.
Especially with a team like the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks are top team right now, obviously, but I really without Giannis, I feel like they can't. I mean, not discrediting their team, but I feel like they really can't do a whole lot. Like when you saw that they got smashed by the Magic when Giannis was out. But Giannis for sure is, I think that Giannis is the next face of the NBA. Because LeBron, yes, LeBron's the face of the NBA right now, but he can't last forever. And I think Giannis is the next player that everyone's really going to be looking to. And you can see that as he's one of the captains for the All-Star game. And I know we could talk about that. You mentioned tampering for the All-Star trade.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron did go out there. He went and got Anthony Davis whenever they didn't trade for him properly. And, he got some other guys like Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant who are potential free agents. So, LeBron does what he does to recruit some guys. So maybe All-Star break or All-Star weekend, he might be talking some guys into coming to L.A.
It's going to be hard for the NBA to bring the hammer down on a guy like LeBron for tampering when he's just doing what anybody would do. I mean, the Warriors called up KD after they beat him in the Western Conference Finals a few years ago. And it's like, you should come play with our team, I mean, it's just, guys do it. It's just, you want player movement in the NBA, and that's why it's such a popular league, because no person stays in one place for a long time. But what are you going to do to stop it? I mean, these guys talk to each other. They work out with each other, like in the summers and the off season. You can't stop it.
I mean, LeBron has to do it. For once, he doesn't have the number 2 go-to, He has had Kyrie Irving, he's had Dwayne Wade, and now he's got, Kyle Kuzma? I mean, he's good, but he's just a second-year guy.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
And as age catches up with him, he needs guys that can take on the scoring load. He's not going to be able to do what he's been able to do the last few years.
Yeah, and honestly, I think a player like Klay Thompson would be a great player to add to the Lakers. And it's kind of, for me, it's kind of foreshadowing, what's going to happen this summer with the trades, because Klay can get traded. And I think the Warriors that team could be changed up. I mean, it's difficult because it's why would you want to leave a team like the Warriors? But maybe it's a time for a change, especially if the Warriors don't stay on top and make it to the finals like they have these past couple of years.
So it's been kind of a tight MVP race. It looked like Giannis was running away with it in the beginning, but there's been some guys that have gotten their way up there, like Paul George, James Harden, who just had his 30th consecutive 30-point game. That's just amazing. When you're getting talked about in the same breath as a Wilt Chamberlain, and nobody will ever average 50 points in a season like Wilt did, but that's still very impressive. And I thought that streak was going to get snapped at some point when Chris Paul came back to the lineup, because who was the other option to put up big points like James Harden? Nobody. But no, it's still going, and I hope it goes on for as long as it possibly can. Just don't get used too much, and then you get to the playoffs and you're just gassed. I don't know if it'll happen. But
I'll tell you what, Paul George, he is on another level.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's not only out there scoring, he's doing it on defense. He's leading the league in steals, 2.3 a game. He's third in scoring, 28.7 points, and he's having a career year all around. And Westbrook is kind of coexisting, getting all the triple doubles too.
I mean, Westbrook, he's impressed me this year, and I'm not the easiest person on Westbrook. I'll tell you what, but he's pretty good. But he has enough self-awareness to know, hey, I'm not the best scoring option on my team. I don't shoot the most efficiently, so I'm going to distribute the ball to this guy who can literally make it from anywhere with a hand, with a hand in his face, with guys draped all over him. That takes a lot of self-awareness. That shows a lot of character. They're going to be a force in the playoffs. I'm just going to tell you right now, they're going to be a problem for whoever they play if they keep playing this way.
Tell you what, if they play the way they've been playing defensively, they're going to get Andre Robertson back soon before the season ends. And he was all-team defense, second team last time he played a whole season. And Westbrook's got some beef out for the Warriors. And Kevin Durant, when he's coming into Oklahoma City, if they play there, the crowd's going to be loud. They're going to be booing them. They're going to be yelling cupcake. It's going to be a very big rivalry, and I'm excited if that happens.
Yeah, having two players like Westbrook and George on the same team, it's pretty dangerous. And Thunder has been doing really well. They're a team just like the 76ers, who I really hope, if they continue to keep the streak up that they have, the 76ers, Thunder, I think those are two teams that can really make a run in the end of this season. And those are two teams I really want to see, because Thunder hasn't really gotten their chances. They've been up and down, and then 76ers have also been up and down. But with the MVP race, I think I'm going to have to go with Giannis. I think in the past seasons, he has kind of been off and on, but I think he has really worked hard, and he's put in those extra hours in the gyms. And I think he's really the MVP this year, to me, personally.
I mean, yeah, he's taken that team to the 1 seed. I mean, nobody saw Milwaukee in the 1 seed. Yeah, in the East, it's pretty, top 4 teams, it's pretty competitive, so nobody saw this coming.
Yeah, roughly about 25 games left in the season. We'll see how it shakes out. I like James Harden, though, because what he's doing is just absolutely historic with He lost a couple key guys last year. Well, I mean, he's playing without Clint Capella, lost Luke Mbamute, so you lost a big key defensive player. So I mean, what he's doing is unbelievable, and the voters are going to take that into consideration because nobody's doing what he's doing. But
So
I like,
we're not-
I like Giannis and I like PG. I mean, it's a tight race right now. Let's be honest.
So we're not choosing anyone on the Warriors? You guys don't got anyone on the Warriors being the MVP?
They're just the MVP.
I feel like the Warriors are just, honestly, they're boring. They're just, because they're a team that's just always up there and everyone always expects them to do well, and there's just nothing that's changed about them. And honestly,
You know,
they're
the
just...
thing is, they just have so many offensive killers that it's
Yeah.
hard to say that they're not going to win it. But you got to say they have pressure. I mean, to three-peat, it's hard to do. The Kobe and Shaq were the last people to do it for the Lakers, 2000, 2002. I mean, they got Kevin Durant, who has a player option this season. He could leave. Klay Thompson, DeMarcus Cousins. And, you know, there's just been a lot of, like, beef, you know. I mean, Draymond Green and Kevin Durant got into it earlier in the year. Draymond Green had the dignity to say that we don't need you, we won without you in 2015, which was pretty hot take, but because Kevin Durant's pretty good to the team, but they have some pressure going into this postseason.
Yeah, but I think that there's such a well-structured organization that all that stuff's going to just die out. It's all going to get kicked under the rug. But they're a secure enough organization that stuff will just it'll just all fade away. So they'll figure it out. I mean, how many times do you go back to back and then you get Boogie Cousins on probably the cheapest bargain you could possibly get.
They got lucky with that one.
I thought my head was going to explode when I heard he signed with them. Like, my goodness.
I mean, they got 2 MVPs. The whole starting lineup's been an All-Star game multiple times. I mean, it's going to be tough to dethrone them.
But it's cool because now you have somebody at the top, and now everybody's just waiting for them to be dethroned. They show signs of vulnerability in the season.
Oh, for sure.
So
I want them to play the Bucks.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, this
I think
playoff
that would be,
race.
yeah.
Now's the time to jump on the NBA bandwagon because it's going to actually be a decent NBA Finals. Whoever makes it out of there, I don't think it'll be another sweep like it was last year.
Maybe Lakers will make it in there, but you never know. Things could happen. Crazier things have happened.
You got a little ways to go.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, LeBron's LeBron, so when it comes to playoffs, they're going to make a run, but they don't have the team that he used to have, and you saw him in Cleveland last year. He was all by himself, quote unquote, but they have some good young guys. They have, like Rondo and Lance Stevenson who have playoff experience, so they can make a run for it, but I don't see them winning a championship or even going to one this season.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out. We'll talk about it more for sure.
Yeah, we will.
After this break, we'll take a look at more results from our teams and this week's upcoming sporting events. Welcome back. Before we end the show, we want to give you some updates for all Missouri Western sports.
Men's and women's basketball both went 1-1 last weekend. Softball also went 1-1 and had a couple cancellation games. Baseball played 4 different schools and went 1-3. And men's and women's track and field had 11 top 5 finishes, with Hannah Williams being the first Griffon to register an NCAA Division II automatic qualifying mark in the 400.
For the upcoming schedule, men's and women's basketball play SBU Wednesday at home and Central Missouri Saturday in double headers. Baseball is home for their first games this weekend against St. Cloud State. Softball has 6 games starting Friday in Arkansas. Men's and women's track and field travel to Lincoln for the Nebraska Tune-Up, and women's tennis plays Rockhurst Friday at the Genesis Health Club.
That's all we have for you today. For more information on Griffon Athletics, check out gogriffons.com. Also, check out Bailey's Sports Report on Griffon Update next week.
We've got you covered every week. From all of us here at Griffon Update Sports, thank you for watching.